Welcome to the WWE Podcast, the most passionate and authentic wrestling analysis on the web. We've got you covered with every Raw, Smackdown, and NXT show, giving you a no bullshit opinion. We know you love wrestling. We do too. So let's get this show underway.
And that's the bottom line. What? 'Cause Stone Cold said so.
Hey guys, welcome to the WWE Podcast on this Sunday, March 1st, 2020. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. With WrestleMania 36 taking shape, we now have Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. We have The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, versus John Cena at WrestleMania 36. Boy, oh boy, how a week can change what we all thought was just definitive in Roman Reigns versus The Fiend. But do not fear, we have Mary Grater here today to discuss this with me and a ton more, including Sasha Banks' return, Orton and Edge, Seth Rollins and his Monday Night Messiah gimmick and tear that he's been on, Miz and Morrison winning the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, just really we run up and down the card, including talking about the Saudi Arabia event with WWE, the Super ShowDown event, Brock Lesnar and Ricochet. We covered a little bit of that. I know we already had a full review show, but we covered a lot of different topics and tried to keep it as clean as we could. And I think we did a pretty good job of that. It's a PG/PG-13 episode, so be mindful of that. But guys, thank you for joining me. Again, this is the WWE, the unofficial WWE podcast, and I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to us as we continue to grow this brand because of you guys spreading the word. So much thanks to all of our listeners, really nationwide and across the world. I know that we have international listeners as well, one of whom we will be hearing from today in our segment where I get to put you guys on the air and you get to comment, question, rant, whatever you want, and we'll get you on the air. And I have a couple of those who have sent me some audio files, and we're going to get to those questions and rants in just a moment. But if you haven't joined us, you can hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss an episode. You can also head on over to the website at www.podcast.com. And also, if you want an ad-free version, that exists at patreon.com/WWE podcast. For those that don't want the ads or anything else, you just want a pure wrestling listening experience, you can do so there for just $1 a month. You can get the entire library ad-free, get on the show with your own podcast, get a shout out on the Twitter feed, and much more. So head on over there. You can also reach me on any podcast app that exists. I don't think there's a podcast app that exists that I'm not on, at least that I'm aware of. So just keep that in mind for those that don't have Apple Podcasts, although that is the greatest way to reach me and subscribe and stay tuned to all of the episodes is on Apple Podcasts. Really, we're everywhere. So boy, do we have a lot to talk about, as I said. And we're going to, before we get into any of that, and myself and Mary Grater discuss for about an hour and a half with everything going on in WWE, I would like to give our listeners a chance to voice their opinions and questions. So, well, let's hit it up, and I'll give you my question or my answer or my follow-up on the back side of it. So let's do this. And don't forget, if you want your audio, your question, or your rant or whatever it may be, feedback, on the show where I can respond directly, please try to keep it to a minute and a half, 2 minutes at the absolute most. I'd like a minute or less if possible. And just put it in audio form in MP3 and send it my way to realwwepodcast@gmail.com, and you can get your question and your voice on the show. So let's do this. The first question is from Sharon, all the way from Israel. So let's take a listen to what he has to say.
Hello, so this is Sharon from Israel. Yes, you have listeners to your podcast from the Holy Land. So first of all, you need to know about that. Second, in your latest program that was released on Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, you asked what was the last Iron Man match that was ever, and you said it was The Rock versus Steve Austin, I think. So I just wanted to correct. It was John Cena versus Randy Orton. I don't remember in which particular year. I can guess maybe 10 years ago. It was that match that was the end of the saga between Randy Orton and John Cena. Yes. And my question to you, or a topic that I wanted that you can discuss on it on your latest podcast, it's about the Elimination Chamber match, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, that nowadays, and last year it was as well, that the Elimination Chamber, it's for the number one contender and not for the championship. What it's your thoughts about that Elimination Chamber, it's for the number one contender, not for the championship? Because I think it's pretty lame. I mean, Elimination Chamber, it's just a spectacular match. It's just so special. And when you have this kind of match, it should be for the championship. I just saw Elimination Chamber match a few days ago, the one when Edge were eliminated, the first one by Jeff Hardy, and it ended when it was Triple H versus The Undertaker. And it was so passionate to see these great superstars fighting each other for the championship. So I think that Elimination Chamber should be for the championship and not for the number one contender. And yes, let me hear your thoughts about that. And thank you again for your podcast. Bye.
Hey, Sharon. So thanks so much for the question and for your comments. So, yeah, I do stand corrected that was an Iron Man match, a true Iron Man match that happened between John Cena and Randy Orton at Bragging Rights in 2009. That was a full-hour Iron Man match. So that did slip my mind. I'm glad you reminded me of it. And previous to that, I believe it was The Rock versus The Undertaker at Judgment Day 2000. So I do stand corrected. It has been, though, now 11 years since that happened. So maybe maybe WWE is in line for another Iron Man match if the feud dictates it. So to answer your question about the Elimination Chamber match, I agree that it shouldn't be for a number one contendership. And this is why the cyclical and scheduling of WWE pay-per-views comes back to bite them, where we have Hell in a Cell, where we have Elimination Chamber just built into the schedule, rather than having the matches dictate when those stipulations should come out. It's the stipulations dictating what matches are put in there, and I do not like that. And in this case, we're seeing it here, and I don't like just number one contenderships being on the line in the chamber. But what else are they going to put on the line in there? I mean, at this point, it's just, it feels very forced this year, and it feels as if it's just, especially with the women's side of things, Shayna Baszler is head and shoulders above everyone else to win that, and she should be. So it's not that interesting or suspenseful in who's going to win. But I don't like the chamber being overexposed every year. I don't like Hell in a Cell being overexposed. To me, they shouldn't be pay-per-view gimmicks. They should be special matches, special stipulations that are brought out when the story and rivalry warrants those stipulations to be used. So I'm with you on that, and I'm not a big fan of no championship being contended inside of the Elimination Chamber, especially such a brutal structure that we've seen over the years. How many casualties and injuries have happened in that match, and bruises and bumps and everything else. So I'm with you. All right, our second question comes to us from Curtis Buck, and he has a bit of a rant on Sheamus's music. I did not expect to see this topic, but I can absolutely see it, and I have to say I actually had to go back and YouTube Sheamus's old music because it's been so long since I've heard it. So, and I gotta say I enjoyed it. But let's get to your question, Curtis, your rant, and I'll follow up on the other side.
One thing that is very annoying, but it's minor, is WWE will not let Sheamus use his old theme song. I was watching WWE's The Bump, and Sheamus said he originally wanted his old theme song back. So he's tried, but he got denied. In my opinion, his old theme song defines his entire career. It's iconic, and now WWE is not going through with it because on the bump they said that it was old and outdated and they forgot about it or something. That's what Sheamus has said. They give Cesaro a new theme song that sounds horrible, in my opinion. And they leave Sheamus with the bar's entrance music. But Sheamus has used that theme song before when he had the mohawk. So, if anything, it's staler than ever. And they could at least do a remake of his old theme if they say it's old and outdated. My point is that I just want to know what you think about Sheamus possibly coming back one day with his old theme song.
All right, Curtis, thanks for your question. And yeah, that is interesting that WWE feels it's too outdated. And I know that they like to sometimes move on and not look back with certain stars' music. But the fact is, Sheamus, I think, is being disserviced, and not changing his music is doing a disservice to Sheamus. While his backstage type of promos about talking about beating on, the little guys and beating on our heroes, and he's got bigger fish to fry, or, all of that's wonderful, and he's got the same haircut now that he had when he first debuted, and all of that's wonderful, but yeah, he needs a new fresh coat of paint with music. There's no doubt about it. Music certainly isn't everything, but the more I listen to that music, I miss it. Number one, it's a much more just appealing song, and I know that you're not trying to make the WWE fans like your music, especially as a heel, but even if you went back to the old music, I think it would be kind of like a case of what's old is new again, and it would, I think, remind fans of what Sheamus has done and how long he's been here. I think fans often forget just how long Sheamus has been here and the things that he's done, and he's been champion, and his rivalry with John Cena and everything else. I mean, this guy really just has not gotten the respect he deserves, and bringing back his old music, I think, while I would like to do it, and if I were in charge, I'd at least give it a try and a trial run to see if it feels right on TV. I certainly understand your frustrations. I think that even if they don't give him his old music, that he needs new music, period, right? Keeping the old bar music, not good. All right, guys, and as a reminder, don't forget, if you want your question answered, just as I did in that format you heard, get your MP3 to me. If you send it in another file format, I can always convert it to an MP3, but just in my own laziness and convenience, if you could send it to me in an MP3 already, that'd be much appreciated. If not, I understand. And send that to realwwepodcast@gmail.com, and that's where you can send it, and I'll get it on the air just as I did here. So, all right. Well, let's get to Mary Grater and myself. We discuss everything this week in WWE, and I hope you enjoy it. We will be back on Tuesday with your Raw review, and, of course, a lot more. You guys know the schedule, and I hope you enjoy. I'll talk to you next time. It is Sunday night, and that means it's time for your week in review. And we have a co-host on today that I am going to do my damnedest to take a deep breath, because this is the co-host that you guys know, the one that was able to get me into an explicit episode. So maybe or maybe not, I can't promise anything, especially with all of the things that have happened this past week in WWE. I'd like to welcome back Mary Grater. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing, and I have to say that you have some kind of Long Island medium type of like clairvoyance or something. Like, there is something that you know that the rest of us don't. And for those of you that are listening that may not know what I'm talking about, Mary, as we like to say, conspiracy theory, Mary here has some theories that she comes out with, and for example, I said that there's no way that WWE's not going to go with the Fiend versus Reigns. Everyone saw it coming, and you, for week after week after week that we talked, said, I don't think it's going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen, and what do we get? So Mary, I don't know where you're coming up with this stuff, where the rest of us are just, kind of in your presence of not being as knowledgeable as you. But man, you've knocked it out of the park with a couple of your theories so far. So share with the class, please.
Well, we've been talking about it for months. Like, even before we did the Royal Rumble show, you guys are like, it's going to be Reigns and Fiend. And I just didn't see it. I don't know why I didn't see it. I didn't see everybody else was saying it. I was like, no. So Goldberg wins the title at Super ShowDown. And I'm like, what? And I'm right. I never said who Reigns was going to face. I never had a clue. I just didn't think he was wrestling the Fiend at WrestleMania, and now it's Reigns Goldberg for the title at Mania, and it's hilarious. So I was right. I don't know. I was right about John Cena Fiend, which I didn't say on the show. That was an epiphany that I had Tuesday morning when I saw an old post about the first time Wyatt and Cena had faced each other, original Wyatt form. So, yeah, man, I got 2 right. Look at me. I don't even know how I knew it, man.
I don't know.
It's not that I'm more knowledgeable. I just had a hunch, which means I have hope alive for my CM Punk theories.
Which I am on. Look, if you have some kind of control over that as well, not just this clairvoyance, but also kind of power over it, I am all for your CM Punk theory, which is badass to say the least. But as we have more and more legends return to WrestleMania, and it's Undertaker, we've got Goldberg, we've got John Cena, among others, I don't know if there's really Edge. I don't know if there's really room for CM Punk to fit in, given that it would kind of be drowned out a little bit by the rest of the roster already, from the ruthless aggression era showing up. So
yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen for Mania. I haven't had any epiphanies about the CM Punk theory. Right now, it's still the same. We were talking about how Joe keeps getting injured, though. And it's kind of putting a wrench in my plans for him to team up with them. But yeah, maybe more SummerSlam. I'm on a roll now. The John Cena thing, is Cena gonna go heel? Might we see it? I don't know. I mean, that was just me just throwing in something that I want, But we'll see.
So I gotta ask, you touched on it briefly. I'm very interested to hear. What do you think of Goldberg being Universal Champion, dethroning the Fiend after having I would say, a very good run? Do I think the Fiend ever actually needed the belt? No, but the fact that you had the most original character in WWE in the last 10 years hold a belt that they're adding as much value to as they can, and have a memorable run, ending up being knocked down by the 90s, I guess, WCW legend of Goldberg with 4 spears and I'm not even going to call it a jackhammer, it's just a suplex. That's how the Fiend ends up losing. I mean, what is your reaction to that?
Well, as you know, I didn't watch it. I don't watch the Saudi shows, but it was one of the first things I saw on Twitter that day. And I think it's like one of the most ridiculous bookings WWE has ever made. Like, why would you build the Fiend up like you have? Like, you were kind of redeeming Bray Wyatt. It's been a good run. He should have never got the title to begin with, but here we were, or here, that's what happened. So a 54-year-old dethrones an up-and-coming, a mainstay of the roster right now. He is a bona fide superstar. He's one of the top of the company, and you drop the title over in Saudi Arabia to suplex. I just don't, it makes no sense to me. And it's all just so he can drop the title, to Reigns. This is exactly what they did to Punk with The Rock. And I mean, at least The Rock was a little better, but The Rock was blown up during that match. There was no reason for Punk to drop the title to The Rock, for him to drop it to John Cena. John Cena should have just beat Punk then. There was more of a story behind it. They had an actual feud. I consider them the Austin Rock feud of that time when there was nothing going on. I mean, I know that's a huge thing. It wasn't as great, but it was the only thing that was close to it. So I don't understand, man. There was no reason the Fiend couldn't be champ going into Mania. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's puzzling, and I have really struggled to understand. And then I had an epiphany, kind of like you did. Not that I foresee the future, but more of in a retrospective type of way. And my initial knee-jerk reaction to this was, what the hell? Like, WTF? And I said it out loud. I mean, I was cursing. I said, well, why, right? I mean, you are sacrificing the future for a one-off deal with Goldberg to just drop the belt to Reigns. And then it dawned on me. And I think what it is, and this is really, I don't think a surprise and shouldn't be a surprise to many, that all roads lead to Roman Reigns. All roads tend to lead to Roman Reigns. When in doubt, follow the road to Roman Reigns and you will get there. And that is, I think, what WWE is doing. And what I mean by that is, I believe that WWE is putting Roman Reigns in a position, the best possible position, to get a positive reaction at WrestleMania. If it had been The Fiend, and it was the believed and foregone conclusion belief that it was going to be Reigns versus The Fiend at WrestleMania, and they swerve us, which Vince likes to do, and that's why I was a little bit hesitant at times to just go with definitely. The fact is that when they put Goldberg against Reigns at WrestleMania, I believe Reigns has a better chance to get cheered than if it was The Fiend versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And I think that they are just sacrificing what they need to sacrifice and move heaven and earth to make sure that Roman Reigns is in a position to win the championship and have the fireworks go off, and they have the wonderful celebration at the end where the crowd isn't booing the holy hell out of this. I still don't believe that's going to happen. I still think the crowd could completely crap all over this. And I would love to know the over-under of the number of moves in this match as well, right? Like, it's going to be Superman, spear, Superman punch, spear, maybe I don't even know if a suplex will exist, a jackhammer, maybe, if we can get Reigns up. This is going to be a very short and very just kind of power-heavy, quick finishers, who can kick out of the most finishers type of match. So, I don't know. My belief is just it's all about Roman Reigns, and they're protecting him as best they can in the crowd reaction at WrestleMania, and they think that Goldberg is a better option than The Fiend.
I mean, I think it could be, like, I think that's part of it, but I also was thinking when it happened, like, that maybe they just didn't want Wyatt to get pinned by Reigns. Kind of, I don't know why you think Goldberg would be better, but they didn't want to, like, put them in a match together at WrestleMania, you know, where one goes over on the other. Could be that, too. Spear versus spear. It could be Brock, you know, Goldberg when they wrestled and everybody pissed all over it. So, yeah, I wish I could say I was surprised, but I, again, did not think it was going to be Reigns Wyatt. So, I mean, in my opinion, I was right. So
you were. I mean, I just this is making me very sad because I pride myself on just I can see the inner workings and I feel like I know where they're going. And whenever I get that level of confidence, that should be a red flag in and of itself for me. Because any time that I feel that way, and then I see a whole bunch of other people who see and feel that way, I get nervous because Vince McMahon has a habit of changing things that we all can see coming, and he knows what we think we see coming. And what does he do? He ends up changing things up to change things up to make sure that it's not predictable. But sometimes predictability is fine. And would I have liked to see Reigns versus The Fiend more? Yes. I would have still liked to have seen that match more. Just because I saw it coming doesn't mean that it's a match I didn't want to see. So we'll get that match eventually, and it should be on a big stage. Maybe it's SummerSlam. Maybe, you know, by some miracle they wait all the way till next year's WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know. But the fact is that this match is going to happen, and Vince saw it and felt that all the fans knew that it was going to happen, and it was, from what I'm understanding, actually in the plans. And then within the last week or so, all reports pointed to Vince McMahon shaking up major matches and this and that. And that's when I said, oh, crap. And I I had a feeling something like that would have happened. So, damn it, Mary.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to gloat anymore. I just want my moment in the sun.
That's
Meltzer,
right.
reported on Thursday. I reported the Cena stuff on Tuesday, man. I'm out scooping. It's my brain. My brain's working that way.
He should, in Meltzer's tweets, he should just, credit in, at Mare Bear, right? You know, just give credit to the source.
I said it first.
Yeah.
I said it first. I don't know. Somebody might have said it the day before, but it wasn't Meltzer.
God, he is one of the most hated people online, too. I mean, some people absolutely despise him. And I mean, I don't know. The guy is, I've never talked to him in my life, and I have nothing bad to say against him. But sometimes, man, I mean, even stars like Baron Corbin buried him in an interview that he did and saying that Meltzer's a cancer and this and that. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't really have an opinion of him. I just think he's wrong a lot. So that's basically it. I don't hate him or anything like that. He's just not right a lot. And everybody, holds him to this different standard. And it's just
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. Well, so let's move on to another match because I think we've kind of buried this a little bit in terms of the Goldberg and your very big indifference on Goldberg being champion. And so moving on, though, I mean, with Ricochet retaining, I don't think that was a surprise to you at Super Showdown. While you didn't watch, I know that you read the results. With Ricochet retaining, getting absolutely zero offense on Brock Lesnar. So I don't know if you read that part of it, but Ricochet got nothing. Not a clothesline, not a punch, not a kick. Zero against Brock Lesnar, who ended up just basically squashing him as if he was an enhancement talent and retaining the WWE Championship. I had my review on that and my thoughts, so I want to get your reaction to that. I know you didn't see it, but what did you think?
Yeah, Brock Lesnar retained. I'm not surprised, but they did the same thing to Kofi. He got not before Kofi won the title. He had wrestled him, I think, at a Saudi show, and he got squashed. So I'm not surprised. I don't know why they had it. I guess they just wanted to see Brock Lesnar kill somebody. I mean, it is entertaining, but it doesn't do anything. Ricochet is going to be fine. Nobody expected him to get, and I didn't expect him to get anything really in either. Maybe a kick.
Yeah, I guess the reason I felt a little bit down on this is we all knew Brock was going to win. That was beyond a guarantee. That was a spoiler, as Heyman would say. It truly was. But the fact that they didn't allow him to get anything in, nothing, that's the problem I have. And the reason I have it is, well, you could say, well, they did that with Kofi on the first Smackdown on Fox this past September, October, whenever they debuted. And yeah, that's true. And but the thing is, Kofi is older, a lot older than Ricochet. Ricochet has a future, and they've continued to build Ricochet over the past 6 months of becoming United States champion, going toe-to-toe with AJ Styles. And then they just have him immediately hit a brick wall with Brock Lesnar, not get any offense in whatsoever. Yeah, he'll be able to bounce back, but I think this sets him back a significant amount of time in the eyes of fans who now say, oh, he's clearly nowhere near. He's not even in the same league as Brock Lesnar. And I understand that from a legitimate credential standpoint, but I don't know. I took issue with the fact that there was no offense. If you're trying to build this star, at least tell the story that maybe he gets a couple quick hits in, stuns Brock Lesnar, who ends up just killing him anyway. So I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but
I just think that's why I don't take these shows seriously, because I don't consider it storylines. So again, Ricochet not getting any offense and doing a squash match against Brock, I'm not surprised. They're just going to expect people to forget it. They do everything. So,
yeah.
Goldberg won the title. Why do I care if Ricochet didn't get a punch in?
Nothing.
Come on. Yeah. He'll be fine. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. I think he will be too. It's just, I think it's going to take a little time. The Undertaker comes back, and the Undertaker replaces Rey Mysterio in the Twake. I'm never going to get the name of this. The trophy match.
I saw
basically
that.
The meaningless mountain trophy match. where Undertaker comes back, squashes AJ Styles in a single choke slam, which was very surprising. To me, that signals that this match is not going to happen at WrestleMania because of the way that Taker beat him very definitively and quickly and decisively with a single move. You beat AJ Styles. So I guess my question to you is, do you see this actually happening at WrestleMania? Could they even build this back up?
I think that's the match you're going. I mean, again, who else would Undertaker? Why would Undertaker attack? Was it just like a scheduled match and he would replace Mysterio, or it was like a competition, right? It was like an elimination style.
It was a gauntlet.
Format.
Yeah.
It was a gauntlet. I see it happening. I don't know who else Taker would be facing. I mean, it's not going to be Bray Wyatt because we're going to get Wyatt Cena, which, is another weird thing that happened on Friday, and I don't understand why Wyatt didn't attack him, but whatever. I think they could do it. I think people would want to see that. They want to see that more than Sting. I'm sorry, come fist fight me on Twitter about it. I don't think people want to see Sting and Undertaker at this point. I think it's just better to let it dream. And no, I think they could do AJ. I think they could build it back up with AJ and the character that he's in right now, like where he like brags and then he throws tantrums and stuff like that. That whole thing he had going on with Randy Orton for a little bit. He'll come out and he'll complain about it. Wait till Monday.
Yeah, they certainly could. The way that it happened, if it wasn't WrestleMania season, you would have just said, oh my God, well this isn't going anywhere, it's over. But yeah, I don't think there's a better opponent to help carry the entire match than AJ Styles. I don't think there's somebody better in terms of being able to hide the weaknesses of The Undertaker than AJ Styles, and being able to just oversell his punches and kicks and really be able to almost wrestle himself in this match. And AJ Styles would be the guy to do it. So if they end up building this back up and Taker comes out on Monday night and cuts a promo and AJ attacks him or something like that, there's certainly a lot they could do. I guess the way that it happened, though, it was one choke slam beat AJ Styles. I mean, how many times have we seen the choke slam hasn't been used as an actual finish in years for The Undertaker? It's always been a tombstone. So it was almost like he beat him with his signature move, not his finishing move. But I don't know. It was a little bit. It was a little weird. And then I know you didn't see it, but when Undertaker, who won the damn tournament and won the trophy, stared at the trophy and then just walked up the ramp. I mean, it was hilarious. It was almost as if he just completely brushed off this prop that's supposed to have all this meaning and value of, it's a symbol of strength and perseverance or whatever stuff that they try to sell you on what this mountain trophy means. And Taker just completely brushed it off and walked up the ramp. It was great. So I love that part of it.
Probably because it's beneath him. He just got paid a lot of money to do this. And I think it's the way that they were like last minute, or they were just like, hey, this is how we're going to bring him back. So Undertaker doesn't need some crappy trophy. No. He's Clint Eastwood, I always call him that. But the only other person I think that it could go up against Undertaker now is Aleister Black, which is what I've been saying for weeks. But I don't know how they're going to build that story up. Maybe he comes out on Monday, like you said, and he cuts a promo, and Black interrupts him, telling him he wants to fight. See that happening. If AJ and Taker happen, I think AJ is going to go out and throw a tantrum, and he's going to get the gong. That's basically what's going to happen with him. But who knows? That's the only other person I see for Undertaker this year, because clearly if they trotted him out at Saudi Arabia, he's going to be back for Mania. And that was the other point I wanted to say, is like, you're still looking at this as like, a regular pay-per-view, so I don't consider it like a real thing, because weird things happen and those guys just want to see the old dudes win. That, like, don't you you remember how there's an flow of like older wrestlers at these pay-per-views? They just want the other person to win. So that's, the older person. So I'm not surprised that he beat him in one thing. And Brock Lesnar Ricochet didn't get a punch in.
Mm-hmm. These shows exist in their own little worlds. And people talk about it as a glorified house show, and I see the parallel there, except it's like a house show that's held in a WrestleMania-sized stadium with $1 million pyrotechnics budget. I mean, seriously, they had fireworks for every single entrance. It was insane and overdone. They just say, hey, how much is it going to take to get so-and-so here? And the prince sits there with his checkbook and goes, okay, how many zeros do you need to get Goldberg here? How many zeros do you need so I can have Undertaker here? I mean, it's when it comes to money, that's ultimately what is why these shows are happening, and why you're seeing legends is because we have a prince that is sitting in his his high throne saying how much money is it going to take to get guys here, and WWE goes, well, let me sit and figure that out, and money talks, as Ted DiBiase says, everybody's got a price.
Yeah, if they're paying that much money for the guy, you think that WWE is not going to book him to win, like, right. Of course they're going to get booked to win. The other people are just there because they have to go. Or, I mean, not everybody does the tour. Cena doesn't, Daniel Bryan does it, but it is what it is. I don't have much to say about it just because, but Undertaker is going to be there, and I think it'll be Styles or Aleister Black.
Yeah, I'm with you. It just has to be somebody super athletic, and both guys fit the bill. Undertaker needs to work with a guy that can work with himself, and those guys absolutely could do it and would have an infinitely better match with Undertaker than somebody that's a power guy like Goldberg or whoever it may be, or Brock Lesnar or whatever. So, all right, well, moving on to something a little more current and something I think you'll have a more positive opinion about, and that is Edge and Randy Orton that we're continuing to build towards at WrestleMania. I think that's a pretty safe bet, unless you're having another one of your premonitions, is that Edge and Orton are moving towards a WrestleMania match. And this coming Monday, we have Beth Phoenix, who's advertised to come out and give a medical update on Edge. I think I might have told everybody what my theory is, because I had another co-host give me the idea. What do you think this could be from Beth Phoenix on Monday night, and where are they going?
I mean, two things are going to happen. She's going to be talking, and Orton's going to come out, and Edge is going to attack him from behind. Or he's going to attack Beth Phoenix, and I think Beth Phoenix can take it, because she's always been her run in the Rumble this year, guys, that was the dark horse of that whole entire match, other than Belair. But I think those are the two things that are happening. Obviously, they're having a match at WrestleMania. They're doing a good build to it. I was a little confused by the Matt Hardy stuff, but it made sense. It's the same, group of people that were all, around at the same time and traveled. So I guess having Hardy there, which was very weird though at first, for him to come out and defend Edge with the history. I mean, he said it himself. It's like, okay, Matt Hardy's coming out and defending Edge. I mean, I know it's squash, but it was still a little weird. But it's the same era dude, and that carried on. And then we got Kevin Owens, and, Kevin Owens is great, and he wants to fight everybody. So it's working. I like the build to the match. I want to see what happens on Monday. I think Phoenix is going to get involved physically probably, too. But I don't know if we're going to see Edge or not.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Edge yet, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to see Edge, maybe even until WrestleMania itself, or as soon as this week, but I would still let it burn. And no pun intended to Usher. I don't know why I'm thinking of that song. I think that what's going to happen is, you alluded to it, that Beth Phoenix is going to come out. She's going to say that he's recovering. We were worried at first, but he's recovering nicely. He might be coming back in a few weeks, whatever. And then we're going to see Orton come out and slowly walk to the ring. She'll stand there. He'll talk about how sorry she is for what he did to her husband. And then she'll eventually eat an RKO. And she'll lay there, and Orton will kind of just slither out of the ring as the announcers lose their minds. I don't think we see Edge, though. I still think Edge is going to wait until the following week, or again, maybe all the way to Mania. Maybe he's not medically able to compete until Mania. But I think she eats an RKO, really just putting insanely, massive amounts of heel heat on Orton, who already has probably the biggest amount of heel heat in the entire company, who's doing the best work of his career, in my estimation. Or at least in the last 10 years of his career that he's just been kind of hiding on Smackdown. This, to me, is going to really skyrocket this and make you want to see Edge and want to see him back and just beat the holy hell out of Randy Orton. I can't wait till Monday, because she's going to eat an RKO.
Yeah, she's definitely getting attacked. It might be a little more vicious than that. We know that Orton has that streak in him, going back to what he did to Stephanie when he was in that huge feud with Triple H. So and Beth will be okay with that. She'll sign off on something like that. So don't be surprised if it's more uncomfortable viewing. But yeah, Randy Orton right now, man, he got some heel heat. He can't come out. He's hurting everybody. He hurt Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy should have came out in a full body cast at some point. But yeah, Beth's definitely getting attacked. She might even entice him too. She doesn't keep her mouth shut. She can take care of herself. We are going to see Edge when, I don't know, but I think we're going to see insane Edge, like going back to early 2000s, like street fighting hardcore, like beating the ever living crap out of Randy Orton. It's going to be a drag out fight.
It can't be a straight up match at Mania. They gotta make this. I don't know what you would do. This one is
Street
worthy.
fight?
Yeah, you could do a street fight, which I think is the most likely. If the Hell in a Cell wasn't a pay-per-view on its own, I would say this is deserving of Hell in a Cell. I mean, I would put this inside of a cell, but I don't believe that that's the road they're going to go. It's worthy of it, but again, I doubt it. Yeah, certainly a street fight, minimum a street fight. So, yeah. And
Balls count anywhere. One of those.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure, but with Mania, I feel like they might up it a little. There's got to be something we're missing with the stipulation or the gimmick part of the match. But I'm looking forward to it. I think Edge is back, and he looks like, from the little bit we saw, that he is what he was when he left. At least he looks like he's even in better shape than when he left. He's got some more gray in his beard, but it's certainly his body's in. He's been able to heal for 8 years or 9 years, whatever the heck it's been. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it. It is the number one thing that I look forward to on Monday nights is what's Orton going to do? Are we going to see Edge? Who's his next victim? And just being able to love to hate Randy Orton. It is the number one thing right now for me in WWE, SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, it's probably the hottest storyline they got going. They have a lot going on right now. A lot of things have happened since the last time I was on the show. Titles have swapped. I think almost all the almost all the titles have changed hands except Brock.
Well, and the women's titles.
And the women's title.
Yeah, the women's
so,
titles.
like, the Intercontinental Championship is now Strowman.
Yep.
We got new Raw Tag Team Champs. We got new SmackDown Tag Team Champs. The U.S. title changed hands?
No.
No. But a lot of titles have switched. I'm just saying. It's been kind of crazy. Other than Orton, Edge, which I'm super stoked to watch too. I am super excited for Baszler or Becky. I don't even know where they're going with this. I don't think Baszler is a vampire. I know people are making jokes about that. I think she's just crazy bitch who bit the back of the neck of Becky Lynch for no reason. And I was like, oh, okay. It was weird, but it was cool. It was different. So, and she cut a promo on her and she cursed at her. And it did not get beeped out. And this is an intense thing that's going on right now. I think we're going to see a different side of Becky. Baszler is going to take it out of her.
Yes, this is feeling different from the beginning. Like you said, people are making jokes about it. It's the lazy joke to make, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, I know you're a big Buffy fan. I mean, you can make a ton of jokes about it. It's just that it's not something that to me was a negative, considering how many people were able to, people were talking about it, saying, oh, well, she could have just come out and stood there, and they would have gone face to face. How many times has that happened, right? When's the last time somebody bit somebody else on the back of the neck and drew blood, right? Never. I don't think I've ever seen that. So I'm fine with the way they did it. Becky Lynch obviously was pissed, to say the least. She comes out, cuts a promo that night and said, you better find me before I find you. And then this past week with the contract signing for the Elimination Chamber, you had the 6 women out there of Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Natalya, Asuka, and am I missing somebody? Maybe not.
I think there is one more. Naomi?
Yeah. No, I feel like I'm missing it. But the point I'm making is that Shayna Baszler is the one that didn't come in. She was being waited on to come out and do the contract signing. She eventually did. Becky comes out and they have this fist out brawl. They, basically within 3 seconds they have security on them with the pull apart brawl. And I made this point. I think it was the last week's show that it's funny how the women have they throw a couple of punches at each other and the security's out there like white on rice. But the week prior, you have Randy Orton basically ending the life of Matt Hardy for 20 minutes, and not one security guard was able to just make their way down. No security guard, no referees, no medical staff. Nobody blinked an eye when Randy Orton was ending the life of Matt Hardy. And yet you have these, it's just so funny. Whenever security is part of the storyline, they end up they're very selective, right? It's just funny. So I noticed that this past week.
Yeah, that is, you're absolutely 100% right. Randy Orton is like committing murder in the middle of the ring and nobody comes out. Nobody comes out to save Matt Hardy either. Like, it was just like, yeah, he'll be okay. But yeah, going back to the women's match, some people are saying that Elimination Chamber is kind of dumb because you know Shayna Baszler is going to win. Also, why is Sarah Logan in that match? I'm just throwing that out there. I could see Ruby Riott being in there because she was the leader of the group and she kind of just came back. So they're giving her some, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I forgot. Anyway, they're giving her stuff to work with, but I still think it's going to be a good match. But you got a couple boring people in there that I think there could be better people in it other than Asuka. Asuka's going to be great in the match.
Oh, I think Asuka is the clear number 2 in here, but even she doesn't have a shot, right? She just lost twice clean to Becky Lynch. Natalya is just the grizzled veteran that, she commands respect. And then you have Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott there, who I don't even know the last time that Ruby Riott and or Sarah Logan have even won a match, right? Liv Morgan's been beating up on Lana, but like that's really not a great thing to put on your resume. So at least she has some wins in her pocket. But you look at Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott, seriously, when is the last time they even won a match? And all of a sudden they're getting rewarded with this opportunity to be able to get into the Elimination Chamber and compete for the Women's Championship. So some of this stuff, sometimes you shake your head and go, what? How is this even a thing? And then you could say, well, how is Shayna Baszler even in this? How is she getting rewarded for the actions she took against Becky Lynch? It's the old adage that just continues to be the WWE culture, and I've just kind of come to terms with it, is that you attack a champion and you get your title shot. That's how you get your title shot. Anybody listening, all you have to do is attack the champion backstage, in the ring, after the match, before the match, at their house. It doesn't matter. You just attack the champion and you get your match. But I don't know. I guess I'm nitpicking at the story, but we all know the outcome. It's Shayna Baszler. It has to be. There's no other option. I
think that Shayna Baszler is getting the shot. They're kind of doing what they did with Charlotte. Like, Charlotte came out the gate and got all the shots. That Shayna Baszler is special. She's put the roster on notice every single time she has appeared on the show, even at the Rumble. I mean, I thought she was going to win. I would have put money down on it if I was a gambler. So that doesn't bother me. It more bothers me that, like you said, like Ruby Riott hasn't wrestled, I think, since she's been back. And if she has, it hasn't been on a main roster show. Sarah Logan is just one of the worst characters that I've seen get called up in a long time. Like, I still want to know why the three of them got called up so quickly. Like, Ruby Riott, okay, but Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan was always a head scratcher for me. It was always a head scratcher. I did not get it. So for them to be in this match, it's weird when you could have, I think Raw's roster is smaller than SmackDown for the women, but I think there's other people that could be in that match that it would be better. Or it just shows they don't really have anybody.
No, I think that's just it. They just kind of threw, all right, well, Lana's kind of involved with Bobby Lashley. And like,
I don't want her in an Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. No, God, please. They just took all available women and you get a shot. That's what they did. They go, anybody that's not really in a storyline, whether you've won a match or you never have, guess what?
Kairi Sane should be in that match.
Seriously, that's the other thing I was going to say. That's a good point, right? Where the hell is Kairi Sane? You're telling me Sarah Logan ends up winning a spot somehow, but Kairi Sane inexplicably is not getting an opportunity. That is inexcusable.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess because her and Asuka are still the tag team champs and they're friends, and while the Riot Squad has broken up, I guess that makes more sense. But I don't know. I really, really, really don't know what the booking logic is with. I'm mostly Sarah Logan. She's the one who bothers me the most.
Yeah, by far. Yeah.
Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott can be in there and it wouldn't really bother me. But her, it's just like, what did she come out and challenge Charlotte a couple weeks ago, right? And Charlotte like beat her ass like really bad.
Very definitively. Sarah Logan has been a punching bag since day one. Right, so living in the woods your entire life seriously, obviously, did not benefit you when you came into professional wrestling because I don't even know if she's honestly won a match. I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
She's the worst gear too.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm really hating on her right
bad.
now. She just doesn't fit on the roster at all. Like at least Liv Morgan, even in her first incarnation, she kind of fit in. She was weird, but like she revamped her look and she looks more like they're blondes that they push out, which. It's fine. She just doesn't fit. And I still think Liv Morgan's a better wrestler than her. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't, a lot of this doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think she knows what she is, right? I think that's the problem is they just kind of went, well, nobody's really this outdoorsy, woodsy kind of woman. Let's make you that. I mean, but there's nothing for me to care about with Sarah Logan. She barely talks. Her gimmick is just head scratching. There's nothing vibrant about her. There's nothing magnetic about her, at least in this version of Sarah Logan. That doesn't mean that down the line she can't find something in her to present to management and say, hey, this sucks. What about this, right? And maybe she is, maybe she's not. But this current iteration of her is just awful. I mean, it's bad. It's bad.
It's just why she didn't fit in. Like, that whole Riot Squad thing was at best. They needed different music. I mean, Ruby Riott's a star. She's awesome. I really, really enjoy her character and stuff like that. But it's just like they didn't think this out. They just stuck these two girls with her. Liv fit a little better, but Sarah Logan never fit in that group. Like, she just didn't. She wasn't like a punk rock girl. She was like what you said, like, some hippie in the woods. Like, it just didn't make, I don't know, WWE sometimes, man. But she'll probably reinvent herself. I hope so down the line, and maybe it'll take off. But she being in that match is just a head scratcher, and she seems really out of place on the whole roster as a whole. But that's just my personal opinion. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to, like, Sarah Logan. I didn't mean to beat you up that bad.
No.
Just, like, I don't get her.
But tell me, like, any logical person that is a wrestling fan, tell me how or why we're supposed to care about Sarah Logan. Give me a significant win she's had in her entire career. Tell me what you know about her. The answer is nothing, never, and I don't know. I mean, we don't know a thing about her. She never wins, and her gimmick just ain't cutting it. So, I mean, she's got to do something to reinvent herself in a big way. I don't know what that is. She's a fine wrestler mechanically. I have nothing to complain about her in the ring. She's serviceable. Maybe she hasn't got the opportunity. I don't know. For me to rag on her is easy, but for me to praise her is harder because I don't know anything about her and she's never won. So, all right.
So, I mean, It also shows, like, you feel like the emptiness on the Raw roster, like we were saying, like Nia Jax should be in that match and she's not. And, if Rousey was around, she would be in that match. So they need to find new talent, up on the Raw roster because SmackDown, it has a fuller roster, I guess you could say, with the women. But like Asuka's on SmackDown, right? And the Elimination Chamber is like, isn't it a combined thing? It's not just a Raw, right? Am I wrong?
Oh, now you got me thinking. So I got to look at the rosters, but I mean,
I thought Asuka was SmackDown.
Well, she's been facing Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship, of which she lost twice. And I think what happens is because you have Asuka as one half of the women's tag team champions, they can float.
Yeah.
So maybe she just kind of floated to Raw and then stayed there, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what happened.
Yeah. But okay. Anyway, moving on. Real quick.
Yeah.
Because we're talking the women, I gotta ask you. Bella Twins.
Oh, God.
Hall of Fame to 2020. Please, before I go on my little spiel, let me know how you feel about this.
This is okay. I love how they try to frame the Bellas as the trailblazers for the women's revolution. Hashtag give divas a chance. The fact of the matter is that the hashtag give divas a chance was in spite of the Bellas because they were part of the problem. The fans weren't looking at the Bellas going, see, we need more of this. This is what we want the women to be presented as. No. You have Nikki Bella coming out during her entrance every time doing a stripper pole dance without the pole. You have, I mean, they're wearing skimpy outfits, push-up bras. They're not the women's revolution pioneers, as if they stood at the edge of the ship and they're holding the flag in the women's revolution. That's just not true. It's a lie. The women's revolution was done in spite of the Bellas. Now, with all of that being said, did they have some decent matches and some memorable moments? Yeah, they had their time in the sun. And I think the reason that they're being selected for this, because the WWE Hall of Fame is extremely selective, it's really dependent on when WWE says, oh, you're in our good graces, you don't have any bad media right now, and you're pretty darn memorable, let's stick you in. There's no certain criteria, it's just kind of pick and choose by management. So I think they're put in, number one, they're twins that are hot. I mean, like, I know this. They are good-looking, very good-looking twins of we've ever seen in WWE. That I don't believe there's ever been twins in WWE on the women's side. And they were decent wrestlers. And they were slight improvement over the bra and panties matches terribleness that was the Divas Championship era. And that went by the wayside. I just don't believe that. Would I put them in the Hall of Fame? Probably not, based on in-ring credentials and memorable matches. To me, that's what it is, and what you've done and meant for that division, men or women. So, no, I wouldn't put them in, but I wouldn't say they're a disaster, but I don't think they're deserving of the Hall of Fame. You?
All right, decent wrestlers. I'll give you that to Nikki. Brie Bella should have never, ever entered a wrestling ring. Ever.
Yep,
I don't care if she hears that. She's a pretty face. They're gorgeous. They're valets. Nikki Bella improved immensely, and she got hurt, and I feel bad for that. But Brie Bella, man, she came back, and she was worse than she was before. She was hurting people. Listen, significant moments, I can't really remember. Somebody on Twitter tweeted at me, said the only significant moment they had was when AJ Lee dropped the pipe bomb on them. I mean, that's the most memorable thing I can remember about the Bella Twins. Decent matches? No. Decent promos? No. Because they're like, this is another question. Where the heck are the Iconics? Like, the Iconics are what the Bella Twins wish they could have been.
Oh, I know.
Like, they're just, like, a superior, even if they're not the best wrestlers in the world, they're still light years ahead of them. And just on the mic, even though those two girls are not sisters, you would think they were sisters. That is what the Bella Twins should have been. And they couldn't because they never had the chops to do it. Now, on top of this, I'm just going to say this, and I want, like, your gut reaction. The Bella Twins are in the WWE Hall of Fame before Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. And how old are they? And, like, they've been, retired for less than a year? Like, and there are so many other wrestlers, why isn't AJ Lee in the Hall of Fame? Right? She's been retired for, 5 years now. She started that whole movement. She was the only person that was in the division at the time that didn't look like that. So, there's that. Do I think that if this was 10 years from now and they did it, would I have that big of a problem with it? Probably not. I knew they were going to end up in there because they pushed them that bad and they married into that company, and they have done a lot of publicity for the WWE. I will give them that. But 10 years down the road, okay, I'm still not going to like it, but I'm not going to argue it as much as this is just complete horse crap. like, Brie Bella has the worst run of her life in the last 2 years, destroys Daniel Bryan's Yes character so much that they turned him heel to separate him before they turned him back into his character because she stole his moves, and she's going in the Hall of Fame before him. And Daniel Bryan was retired for 4 years. Why didn't Daniel Bryan get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Right. So, good points. I mean, Daniel Bryan, yes, the fact that he's not inducted and they are, on paper, you're like, well, what the hell? But you could say, oh, he's an active wrestler. They don't induct active wrestlers. That's true. But like you said, he was retired for years. And maybe they didn't do it because they figured that if there's a chance he could come back, there would be more of a special moment. He's still on TV. He's the general manager of Smackdown. Let's wait. And so maybe there were reasons why they waited. And obviously it was a good call because he came back and he's continuing to wrestle and have great matches. And we still don't know what the hell he's doing, as he's completely lost in the sauce, directionless right now on SmackDown. And we're only 5 weeks away from WrestleMania, and your once main eventer that is still getting one of the biggest babyface reactions on SmackDown and in the whole company is continuing to just kind of wallow in the wind and going, well, we don't know what we're doing for him yet. And it's scary right now for Daniel Bryan. I have some ideas and things I've heard, but I don't know for sure, and it's kind of really striking. There's no solid direction for Daniel freaking Bryan right now. But to the Bella's point, to kind of finish that up, the Bella's is particularly Brie. The only thing I can remember, if you're going to point to a moment beyond John Cena's proposal to Nikki Bella, which was beyond predictable and obviously ended in a complete disaster for them, is Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. I remember her standing up to Stephanie McMahon, and while it wasn't a great match, it was memorable. She had some decent promos, some okay promos against Stephanie, but ultimately, yeah, she is, when it comes to in-ring skill, Nikki has the upper hand on that for sure.
Yeah, everybody knows I hate them, so I never really have anything nice to say about them. But it's just like, it's another publicity stunt. Like, they're pregnant at the same time. The John Cena stuff, they never were going to get married. That was completely forced by WWE TV. You know, he's engaged now, she's engaged, she's pregnant. Like, I hate watch Total Bellas and Total Divas just to hate on them because they just annoy the crap out of me. And I don't think they're any way, shape, or form deserving to be in the Hall of Fame, but it is what it is, man. I just think they could have had a better woman inductee this year. You know, absolutely 100%. It's not like they don't have people that they could choose from. They do. They do.
I'm over the Bellas. Every time they come on, it's like some big thing, and I'm like, no, this does nothing for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm a straight male, and I like seeing pretty women. I don't care about the Bellas anymore. I don't watch wrestling. I'm not 14, 15 years old anymore looking at Sable wearing pasties on her boobs and going, oh my God, I don't care. I don't watch wrestling for that stuff. And the Bellas, to me, just bring back those old type of, like, the old type of presentation that WWE had for women in the Divas era, and obviously before that in the pillow fight era as well. So I'm over the Divas. I'm ready to just kind of put them behind me. But don't worry, we'll have the Hall of Fame speech to all sit and soak in. So yeah.
Army, we love you. Oh,
I can't. Anyway,
they are so greeting. The only positive out of all this is, like I said, if AJ Lee was to ever come back, she'll come back now because the Mean Girls are out of the locker room.
Yeah, that's right. AJ Lee is, I mean, when you look back, she truly was one of the first women that was not over-sexualized, had I loved how believable she was in her promos. Her crazy gimmick was extremely believable. I didn't read her book, Crazy is My Superpower, but I really want to because I've heard good things about it.
It's good. It's really, really good.
I need to. Just everything about her. Yes, she was extremely good looking, but that was something that was kind of a side effect. I mean, her personality, the gravity she had on air. She was good in the ring. Her gimmick, that didn't feel like a gimmick of being crazy, and the whole thing she did with Daniel Bryan and Kane, and like, I loved it. If AJ Lee ever came back to the ring, I'd be almost as excited as the CM Punk came back. I mean, it would be amazing. So
I mean, I think that it's owed to her too. I think there were multiple factors why she had to retire. I mean, she retired at like, what, 26, 27? She's a baby, you know, and she loves wrestling, but she was married to, you know, enemy number one. And like I said, she wasn't really liked backstage by, you know, the head girls in the locker room, the Bella twins. And, you know, the Bellas could have had a really good thing going with them. And I hope they look back and realize them squashing that because they didn't like what she said. There might have been truth in it, but they could have had a really good program with her. And instead they just, you know, threw their weight around and squashed it, and that went nowhere. And it was a memorable promo by AJ Lee, and she's probably one of the best females they've ever had on the mic. But there's a lot to be said. I don't think we ever really saw the full potential of her as a wrestler because they were doing 2-minute matches. And she was the longest reigning Divas champ until they put it on Nikki Bella because, you know, they had to do that. You know, and she beat everyone in a battle royal at WrestleMania. Now you look at it and you go, oh, it's because they had nothing for her, no opponent, but that just proves they had no opponent. And now the division is exactly where she should have been. And I think there's a lot for her to still do. And a lot of things have happened that she can do that she wasn't able to do when she was in the division. And, you know, the women's title that she thought should have been brought back before it came back is back now. And now there's 2. So I really hope that I want Punk back. I really hope in some capacity maybe she can come back for a little bit and have equal people with her in the ring, like Selena Vega and her going out on the mic, and Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks when they let Sasha go, and, you know, Bianca Belair when she comes up. Like, it could be really, really good stuff. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, oh my God. AJ Lee and Zelina Vega, that would be awesome. A lot of parallels there between the two. They've got the same type of quality of making you pay attention. They're very well spoken. That would be awesome. But continuing on the women's division, I mean, you have Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, that is confirmed for WrestleMania. And then you have Bayley out there. While she doesn't have a defined opponent, it looks like we're probably going to get some type of multi-woman match at WrestleMania, unless they go with a returning Sasha Banks against Bayley. What do you think about the possibilities of where the SmackDown Women's Championship could be? And really, what do you think about Charlotte and Rhea Ripley?
I think Charlotte and Rhea Ripley is going to be awesome. 2 massive girls in the ring, and they're strong, and Charlotte doesn't hold back sometimes, and I love Rhea Ripley. I think she's amazing, and that match it could be a show stealer at Mania. As far as Bayley goes, I don't really know where they're going. It looks like they were going with Naomi, which I think is fair. I think Naomi should be back in the title picture, and I think she should win it just for a little bit. I don't know how long she's going to hold it, but it makes sense. I don't know. Do I see Sasha turning on her right now? No. I mean, she came out in defiance and totally screwed everybody up for Bayley. Yeah. So I don't know, but I think eventually we're going to get there. I eventually think it's going to be Sasha versus Bayley. I hope they don't turn Sasha face. I hope they just have her beat the crap out of Bayley. And I don't know if that turns Bayley face, but both of their characters, I really like Bayley, what she's doing right now. She seems to have figured out what her character is. She's still kind of bland, but it's working.
Yeah, it is. And I agree with you on Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. And that is a match that is straight up. It doesn't seem, there's no flash to this. There's no bells and whistles to this, which I'm totally fine with, because you have obviously Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler with all of the craziness going on there. That one is... It's taking a much different road than Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, which is a very just straight up, I'm the queen here. I made this division, versus Rhea Ripley, who's the established NXT Women's Champion. And I think that's going to be a match most people, I think, are looking towards to challenge Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch for the best women's match of the night. I really think that you could make a case for both. And man, this, from the women's perspective, when you look at both the NXT and Raw Women's Championship, that has the potential to really knock the roof off the building. Well, there is no roof in a stadium, but you get my metaphor. This has to be one of the strongest women's lineups, and we don't know the Smackdown one yet. It could be Naomi versus Bayley. It could be maybe, I don't want it, but another turn from Sasha back to babyface and versus Becky or versus Bayley. Or you could have some kind of multi-woman, 4-way, 6-way, I don't know, 8-way match, elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. But the women's division is really, I think, the best it possibly could be right now. And that's saying a lot considering that Nia Jax isn't even there, unless she makes a return in the next few weeks or at Mania. And then Ronda Rousey, basically your centerpiece of the women's division from last year, is not a whisper, gone. And we're still talking about how we have 2 really, really good matches for the women's division at WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, Rousey, there was like a hole, I think, felt, but even though we've been talking for weeks about how Becky needs to drop the title, Becky's been the face of the division, man. She's been carrying it since her Stone Cold moment she had when her nose got busted open. I mean, she has been the face of that division, more so than Charlotte. Everybody recognizes her. She's on everything. She's been doing a lot of media. Do I think it's time for her reign to end? Yeah, and I don't know if Shayna is going to win it at WrestleMania. If she does, that's going to be kind of crazy. But it would set a good tone for the year to come, like to have Baszler in that position, and maybe then you see a Rousey return. Mary's throwing out conspiracy theory.
Oh boy, here you go. Well, so I'm not going to discredit you, so.
What is that?
I'm not going to discredit anything you say anymore, so I've learned my lesson twice.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with the Bayley match. I think if Sasha goes after the title, I don't think she's turning face. I think they're going to keep her how she is right now. But I think that dynamic that we've been talking about has to switch. So where, Bayley's supposed to be the champ and Sasha's supposed to be the sidekick, it's got to reverse. Sasha's got to be the champ and Bayley's got to be the sidekick. Because even though she has been dominant and she's been proving everybody, Raw, she's been cheating and stuff like that, but that's what heels do. She still doesn't come off like the champ. Like, it's just, and then you have Sasha return and Sasha immediately takes all the spotlight off of Bayley. She's been doing good without her, though, the last couple weeks. I mean, it's not like she's been, floundering, but as soon as Sasha walked out, nobody cared about Bayley. They cared about Sasha. So the title needs to go to her eventually, but I don't see them turning on each other. I feel like Sasha either turns on her and they split up, but Bayley still stays heel, or somehow it becomes a friendly competition thing. Could happen.
It could, and that's a good point to bring up, though, that whenever Sasha comes back, it immediately just the way that we think and the way that Sasha Banks has been positioned over the last few years is that Sasha Banks is a bigger star than Bayley, even though Bayley has the belt. And that immediately just took Bayley down a peg, who I thought was doing really good work on the mic, finally gaining some traction as a heel and making the turn worth it that happened months ago. And Corey Graves, for all of his faults and all of his corporate propaganda that he spews out of his mouth, every 5 minutes on the commentary desk, he made a good point that Bayley, over the last few weeks, has indeed been gaining some momentum, as they like to say, over the last few weeks in Sasha's absence. And he said that it has been because Sasha's been absent that Bayley has gotten a lot more traction, which is damn true. And as much as I love Sasha Banks, I love her heel character, and I think there's way more to investigate there. The fact that you have these two together is what's hurting Bayley. They need to separate. I don't care if they both stay heel. That's fine. I love them both as heel. But they need to just parallel each other, not hold hands with one another. They are, especially Bayley here, who's the victim, is being dragged down because Sasha Banks is viewed as a bigger star. So, take Bayley. And if you want to keep her champion through Mania, I mean, maybe that's fine. But I just have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to just do something to cause tension between Sasha and Bayley, hinting at yet another turn for Sasha Banks back to face. I just have that feeling. I wouldn't do it, I certainly wouldn't do it after her return this past fall, and then back to babyface again. I don't know. I'm ready for these two to just stay away, both be heels, but just stay away from each other. I mean, please.
I mean, I don't have a problem if they keep them together, but like I said, it has to be reversed. Sasha's got to be the champ, because it's even like Bayley's almost her hype man, like on the mic and stuff, like with the way she introduces her and stuff like that, and talks about her. It's just got to be reversed. I don't think they're separating them anytime soon. I just feel like something's gonna happen where they are gonna go after each other, but I don't know if it's gonna be at Mania.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. The SmackDown women's side is extremely blurry right now. I don't know where they're going. I think we'll get a much clearer picture in the next few weeks here. So just a few more things, and then we'll wrap up. So what do you think so far of the Monday Night Messiah? We have Murphy, no longer Buddy, because they just kill first names. We have AOP, obviously, and Seth Rollins, who's growing his hair and his beard out to look like Jesus Christ. And he's carrying or wearing but he's also wearing a jacket that's like Bane from the Dark Knight Rises movie. I love what Seth is doing. The way he shakes hands with fans, the way he speaks, his religious undertones, all of this stuff I think is still really good. I think we would view it as even better, and maybe it would get more time if the Edge return didn't happen. And that's not a slight to anybody. It's just the fact that Edge returning supersedes everything going on as it should, and just inadvertently halted the momentum a little bit of the storyline with Seth Rollins and his group. But I love what they've been doing so far. I still love his promos. I love his attire. I still believe that there's a major championship in his future in 2020. I don't need to see this group break up at all. People have been talking about it. Well, shouldn't AOP be mad that Murphy and Rollins are tag champions and they're not when they're the real tag team? Yeah, they probably should be, but we're not going to explore that yet. That's just something you keep in your back pocket for whenever you do decide to split them up down the line, way down the line, that you bring that back up. So, I don't know. I'd give this a very good report card with this group. I think we have a lot to see from them in 2020. How do you view Seth Rollins and his group so far, his Monday Night Messiah?
I think it's interesting that they put the tag titles on Murphy and Seth, but that kind of alludes to what I've been saying about Buddy Murphy. I'm going to call him Buddy Murphy because whatever with the name thing. He'll be Buddy in like 3 months. Just Buddy. Anyway, I think that, like I've been saying, he kind of burst on the scene, and he didn't like get beat up or buried in a way that, people forgot. He had good matches when he first came up. He was losing, but they were excellent matches, and I think they think he's a star, and they put the title on him with, the biggest star, one of the biggest stars in the company. Seth's look, I mean, I've seen it before. CM Punk did it about 10 years ago. In the Straight Edge Society, grew out his hair and beard, looked like Jesus. He was a little meaner. He wasn't shaking everybody's hands, but it's the same thing. He's got Dean Ambrose's old jacket that Dean was wearing before he left.
That's right. Yes.
So
is that what it is?
Of the two going on, except Dean was, the lunatic fringe, blah blah blah. So this. I think this stable is going to be together because they eventually think that if the Undisputed Era ever gets called up, that's going to be their first feud. But I don't know when that's going to happen. I also think NXT has now become its own entity, and I think a lot of people that we thought were going to get called up are not getting called up anymore because Triple H won't let bad things happen to people anymore. So yeah, the stable is going good. Could there be tension inside? Maybe, but I don't think so if we're viewing, Seth as Messiah / cult-like leader, which you kind of have with Bray Wyatt too. But, Bray Wyatt just lost the title, so I don't know how much longer his team is going to be going. But it's good. I have no complaints about the storyline. I like how it's still going with Kevin Owens. I wish Samoa Joe would stop getting hurt. Because it seems like every week he's got something. He goes out of the ring, takes bad dive, concussion. You're telling me he failed the wellness test. I didn't even know about that, and I don't know for what. Maybe he was getting stoned. That was probably it. But everything's good with that storyline right now.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody thinks and draws the conclusion, oh, it's got to be steroids. Everybody thinks steroids are the reason why people get knocked for the wellness policy. They don't understand that there's a long list of drugs that if are found in your system, that you will be suspended. It could be an overdose or an overuse of pain pills. I mean, it could be marijuana. All these harmless things that, not harmless in massive doses, but, I mean, the fact is that it's not always steroids. People just point to that and think that stereotype every single time it's steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. So who the hell knows? We'll never know unless it's revealed by probably Joe himself of what the actual fail was for. So, and just quickly on the Bray Wyatt thing, the only reason I'm bringing this back up is because Bray Wyatt had tweeted out, I don't know if it was the 29th, so yesterday. He said on his Twitter feed, "To my mockingbird, not a loss, but instead a sacrifice. He wasn't a chapter in my tale. I began with a mission, and now I'm where I was supposed to be. You'll see." So, giving hope to those, basically saying that, hey, everybody, this wasn't a loss. This was a necessary evil. I'm going to show you why this is okay and why in this story it makes sense. Essentially, that's what he's saying in his very cryptic type of speak that he uses, which I love. So, I don't know, just an interesting note there.
That's interesting. I didn't see that tweet. He speaks in tongues. But maybe he is right where he's supposed to be, facing John Cena and getting his redemption match against him at WrestleMania. And we'll see what he does. Maybe his whole plan this whole time was to turn John. Didn't he try to turn John before?
Yes, I think he did.
They had it going up to that. He kept trying to get him to go to the dark side. Was that with the lamp? Is that when he came out of the stupid lamp?
Oh, that was in the cage when there was like a kid there singing or something.
Yeah, wasn't that John Cena though?
That was John Cena.
So they have a history. He's kind of going down the list of people that he's had issues with, if you haven't noticed. I mean, I know there's been legends thrown in here and there, but he's going down his list, and I think he's going to get his win back at WrestleMania against John Cena. What's it going to affect John Cena, though? I think that's the bigger question right now, seeing what his track record is. So, he lost to Goldberg, so clearly he didn't change Goldberg. Goldberg's still Goldberg. As stupid as this conversation that we're having right now, that Goldberg is the Universal Champion. So that happened. But everybody else he's changed. And I think that his goal was always to change John Cena because nobody's been able to do it. So let's see if that's where he's leading to. Because, again, this isn't the first time that they have crossed paths. I don't think that John Cena knows what to do with this version of Wyatt, though. The other Wyatt, he kind of thought he was a chump. John Cena doesn't know what to do with this Wyatt.
No, he has no idea, and they're going to draw on that past program from, 5 years ago, whatever it may be. I hope they do. They absolutely should. They'd be foolish not to. And that's probably why in Wyatt's tweet he said, he wasn't a chapter in my tale, referring to Goldberg not being part of his list of victims that he was going after, and which is why he didn't attack him after the match. He didn't see the pay-per-view, but after Wyatt lost, he stood up after his terrible jackhammer and acted like he was going to attack Goldberg from behind, and he didn't. He just disappeared. So I think that that's probably what he's alluding to, that he was not part of my plan or my attack. But having John Cena be part of that's probably what he'll say. This is why I am who I am, is because of you, John. There's a lot to draw from there. I'm looking forward to the promos. They should be extremely entertaining, particularly the Firefly Funhouse the next few weeks. I'm really interested to see and hear what he has to say about John Cena and why he decided to challenge Cena. It was interesting, though. One last note on that is that John Cena comes out and talks about how here, this is all about the future. I'm here to announce that I'm not going to be at WrestleMania and not be a part of it. And then immediately following that 15-minute promo, goes up to the ramp, and all the Fiend has to do is point to the WrestleMania sign, and that was enough to go, yeah, well, everything I just said doesn't matter. I'm going to be a part of WrestleMania because you pointed to the sign. It's just interesting that he took all this time to talk about how it's about the future and not about him anymore, And then just staring at the Fiend, pointing at the sign, he was like, yeah, let's do this, right? So it was just kind of interesting that it was just that easy to go back on his word.
Well, John Cena also did a retirement speech, and then he was, back 2 weeks later, like when he was going through his divorce. So that didn't bother me. Why it didn't point to the sign until after John turned around and looked at him. What bothers me most about this whole thing is why didn't Wyatt attack John Cena? Like, he's attacked everybody else, and Cena's untouchable. I know he has a song that's called that, and blah, 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 John Cena lore, but John's been away for a while. I get that, but John can take a beating. He can take an attack. It's not like he's not in shape or anything like that. It's John Cena. He's a freaking cyborg. It just didn't make sense to me that the Fiend shows up and points at the WrestleMania sign. Like, why does the Fiend care about WrestleMania? He just cares about, what he's doing as, the Fiend. So that was what caught me off guard. But if you notice, when John turned around and he looked at him before he pointed at the sign, John's face turned very serious. So I see it as John Cena, WWE is his home. He went on about that. He's still the level. I mean, they haven't really gotten a John Cena since John has been gone. He's at that mythical level now in the company and is still as an active part-time wrestler, and it's his home, and he's the commander of the locker room, and this guy has been a threat and he's been taking out people. So John Cena is the hero, and he's like, no, wait, I got to deal with you. So maybe that's it. It could be as simple as that. Right. I just want to see what happens to John after, because I also think they took the title. They could have done it for the title, but then it would have been John breaking the record, and breaking Flair's record. And he's part-time. He's not going to be around long after WrestleMania. He's becoming a movie star. So I think that's also why they did it. So they could do Wyatt and Cena, and there was no title on the line. Because if the title was on the line, John was going to win. If it's not, it doesn't matter if John wins or not.
Which most people, I think, I don't know if most people are on the side of wanting to see John Cena beat Ric Flair's record, and I think maybe they were worried that would have played into, well, number one, John Cena's not the future. Number two, it would be a very quick one-off, as John Cena is obviously into more movie schedules than he is WWE World. So what would he just drop the belt in a month? I mean, just to have him win 17 at WrestleMania. And possibly turning the crowd against him to not see that happen. So it was a smart move taking the belt off of the Fiend if you're going to have a John Cena Fiend match. It makes total sense. This is just about personal issues, and that's what it should be with a legend returning, and to just do kind of a one-off. And having the Fiend do that makes sense. And having him not attack John Cena, I agree, is a little weird. And to just do the kind of corporate way of challenging people to WrestleMania to point to the sign or whatever was a little bit off of the character for the Fiend. And yeah, I don't know why he couldn't have at least just done a mandible claw to John Cena if he's like, hey, look, I don't want to take any chances. I've got this and that shooting tomorrow. You could have just done a mandible claw and laid on your back like, Kurt Angle and even Braun Strowman and Jerry the King Lawler. Like there are guys that you just lay there, right? You just lay there and take it. So it's super easy move to take. So yeah, it did make sense, but I mean, I don't know. I'm still looking forward to this a lot more than I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns and Goldberg. I will tell you that. Like, this one actually has me intrigued from, as you said, not just the match itself, which I think will be much, much better than Goldberg Reigns, but from a character change standpoint. Do they dare try to turn John Cena heel? Do they even go that road?
CHG. the most talked about heel turn ever. Hogan did it. Cena hasn't gone back. I mean, if you've been watching the Ruthless Aggression, I have to reorder WWE Network, but I watched the first 2 episodes and they did the whole thing around John. And, he was talking about when he said he needed to stop rapping because of the kids and stuff like that. And they could use that as an angle right now too, because, Fiend has the Fly House and you always hear the kids laughing and it's supposed to be like a child show, like Blue's Clues, all those kind of shows. So maybe that's the bartering chip right now. Who's in charge of the children? Like, John Cena is the hero of all the children. So if he loses to Wyatt, it might finally make him switch. And he's been switching a lot of people. And it won't really matter because John's gone and he can pull the whole I'm Hollywood like The Rock did when The Rock came back and he was a heel and he was filming stuff. It works. I think it should happen. I want John to have fun in the end of his career, even though I think he'll be happy being John Cena. I mean, he seems like one of the nicest people on earth. So I don't know. I'm just interested again, that's my main. It's going to be a good match. They'll have a great match. John always can have a good match when he turns it on. But the aftermath, what's going to happen after, and if this is going to change John because he lost to this guy, it's going to be interesting to see. Will they probably do it? No. But I can hope and dream and make conspiracy theories. I've been waiting for a Cena heel turn forever. So
just like I'm waiting for a Roman Reigns one. I mean, this is, if you're going to do it, and I wouldn't say this is your conspiracy is too far off, because you have the biggest stage possible to do it at WrestleMania. You have a guy that is not going to get any younger to do it at WrestleMania. I mean, obviously he's getting older. If you're going to do it, every year that goes by is a year that you should have probably done it. And you have it against a guy that is has transformed, four guys into their heel turns. That's what he does. Yeah. So that is what his mission is. So you have a character that is one of the best WWE's had in a decade. You have a platform to do it. You have the motivation of the heel to do it. It just all makes sense for it to finally happen, and it has to be a Fiend win. I mean, I don't see a world in which John Cena wins this. I just don't. Two huge losses in a row for the Fiend, not just losing your belt, but then losing to another part-timer at WrestleMania would really, really, really hurt the Fiend. So this is, to me, a foregone conclusion. I hate saying that because then I eat my words. But to have a very strongly predictable outcome of the Fiend winning is fine with me, because as you said, it's the aftermath that I'm really interested in. It's not necessarily the match, it's how does John Cena take this loss to the Fiend? Does it indeed change him? And I'm very interested to see not just that, but the narrative that we build up to WrestleMania towards. What does Bray Wyatt talk about over the next 4 weeks? Does he talk about trying to change John Cena? Or does he just talk about a bunch of mumbo jumbo and rambling rabbit and all this stuff? The narrative is going to drive, I think, what ultimately happens at the end of this match.
Yeah, and he's got a lot to, feast on and to poke and prod at him because he isn't around anymore. So it's kind of like he's abandoned the WWE universe and Bray hasn't, he wants everybody to let him in. So it's kind of like when Punk went up against him in 2011 and called him, he's everything that he hates. He's the New York Yankees now, and he socked him. That was one of the best lines Punk ever threw out, by the way. There's a lot for Wyatt to pick apart at John and to attack him psychologically, and I think this is going to be a huge psychological thing. Hopefully we'll get serious John Cena, because any other John Cena other than rapping John Cena, which we're not going to get for this, it doesn't work if he's making corny jokes or kind of like brushing us off his shoulders and stuff like that. It has to be dead serious John, like, I'm going to win, but his cage needs to be rattled, man, and I think they have a good opportunity to prey on that because he hasn't been around and he has been wrestling part-time. And I think the last time where he was doing the last stretch before he left for, I guess, this permanent gone that he's been for a while, he was losing matches, right? Remember, he was getting defeated. He was sitting in the middle of the ring and he was just shaking his head like he didn't have it anymore. And then he lost to The Undertaker last year real quick. So it's kind of going in that direction. And I know he was doing that so he could leave. But it's prime for the picking for somebody like Bray Wyatt to go after him. And it'll be a redeeming moment for Bray Wyatt from the first time around and from the bad 2 losses that you just said, that he had after Goldberg.
I hope that his tweet is not misleading and that we all look back and go, yeah, that sucked against Goldberg in the moment. It was stupid in the moment. But ultimately, where you are now, if at WrestleMania we go back and go, okay, I'm on board for this. It was worth not having the belt. Let's go. I hope we're all saying that at the end of this match. And having John Cena, the narrative here, as you said, having not tried to be funny John Cena. John Cena trying to be funny is usually never, ever funny. I don't mind the Doctor of Thugonomics, but I don't need the iteration of John Cena as we saw Friday, but trying to be funny. It's very rare. I don't like that. I like the really serious John Cena, as you said. That's the Cena that we need. Because if he tries to be funny and doesn't take this lightly, it's going to really, really, I think, hurt the Fiend's character and hurt the fear that he's trying to instill in his opponents and the perception of fear. So, yeah, John Cena has to take this seriously. I don't need him making jokes or being funny. So, yeah, I'm on board for that. So, one last thing I want to ask you about, and then obviously bring up anything that you want to, is The Miz and Morrison winning the Smackdown Tag Team belts from the New Day. I like this. I think it's the right move. It's interesting that John Morrison is exactly where he is now as to when he left WWE. So WWE just kind of slotted him back in the same place, which you could say, hey, Morrison's been gone for 7 years, and you're just going to stick him back in the same damn place. But he kind of found a comfy home with The Miz. I like them as heels, particularly The Miz as a heel. I don't think New Day need the belts. Usos don't need the belts. Heavy Machinery, probably not ready for the belts yet, although we're getting, I think, closer. If Otis can get his mind off Mandy Rose. And then The Miz and Morrison, I think they could have a lengthy run with those belts, and I think it's the right place for them to have it.
Yeah. I mean, the New Day has had the title so many times now, you always think that they are the tag team champs. So it's a new tag team to have the titles, but at the same time, it's not. They had a run the last time Morrison was there, and we were talking about it the last time. They don't really have a place for Morrison as a singles competitor. They need to still change their music and his opening, but they're not going to. They're going to stick with it. But yeah, it works. There's nothing wrong with it. They're good together. They have good chemistry. And as long as you have the Miz in that microphone position, you can't really go wrong. I mean, he's Teflon at this point.
Yeah, The Miz is. You could do anything to The Miz at this point. He had a kind of a failed babyface run that just turned him back to heel. It felt a little bit like Seth Rollins as a babyface. It just didn't feel right. Never felt right. Felt too forced. Felt like the Wii stuff was a little bit too manufactured. The Miz never quite cut it as a babyface, and that's fine. They gave it a real try, and it didn't work. Just as Seth Rollins' babyface run, while at times was mildly successful, never turned into what they really wanted. And those two guys are just slotted to be heels. Morrison, I don't know how he keeps his 8-pack and how he continues to just look like his body is 26 years old. And the moves that he can still do are crazy. He's not the greatest on the mic. He kind of feels a little robotic. So, yeah, I would keep the microphone in the hand of the Miz for sure. But I don't know. I like it. I see also at WrestleMania this being some kind of multi-team match. I know we're getting this at Elimination Chamber with basically every single tag team that WWE has on SmackDown stuck into the chamber. Again, what did they do to deserve to be there? We'll never know, other than just exist on the roster, which was basically the qualifying event that allowed them to be in the chamber. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be a multi-person match again at WrestleMania, maybe a multi-person ladder match for the tag team belts. So those are my thoughts. But ultimately, I think the New Day doesn't need them. Usos don't need them. So it's going to be an entertaining ride from here to Mania.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't have a problem with the program. They probably will have the titles for a while. I do want to see the Usos get the titles back, and I think that we see that sooner than later if Roman wins, which he probably will, at WrestleMania, and then they all still stick in their stable together, and they all have titles. I could see that happening for a little bit. But yeah, it's a good move for right now.
All right, Mary. Well, is there anything else that we didn't talk about, or maybe you wanted to expand upon? I know that we didn't touch everything, but go ahead.
I was thinking we were talking about the Fiend real quick too. With the tweet that he sent out, maybe he lost on purpose. I mean, when Goldberg showed up last week, what was it, on Raw? He speared him. Like the Fiend didn't attack him. That's the other weird thing. He hasn't attacked people. He didn't attack Goldberg. Goldberg just speared him in the middle of the ring, and then he came out with Cena, and he didn't attack Cena, and he just pointed at the sign. Maybe that quick win where he just won with a suplex. Did Wyatt get any offense in?
Yeah, he did. It wasn't a whole lot. Wasn't a whole lot at all, but he did.
But maybe he lied down on purpose. Sacrifice. Means to an end.
You could play that, yeah.
He's a weird dude. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe
if
he
there's a
care about the
character
title.
yeah, right. So if there's a character on the roster that you're going to have try to explain why they purposely tried to lose, that would be the one that you could try to spin it. Yeah, you could. I'm for that rather than having it be Goldberg going in and the Fiend gave it everything he had and you were able to beat me. No, I'd rather have the Fiend have some kind of twisted way of presenting to me that he lost because he has bigger fish to fry, even if in the sacrifice of losing the belt, he was able to get to John Cena. I mean, if you are able to sit down and figure it out, I'm sure there is a very smart way to present it. So, hey, if that's the case, yes, but I have a feeling that we're not even going to address it. I really do.
I mean, I don't think they are either. But it's also, if that was the case, why didn't he show up in the Bray Wyatt persona, the one that doesn't fight back? So,
yeah.
I don't know. Again, I still can't believe that he lost the title at Super ShowDown. It's just, it's baffling to me. But hopefully, I mean, it's leading to a John Cena Fiend match, and I'm really curious to see how that goes if he wins. I just hope that, like, no offense to John, I hope John doesn't win. I hope it's not predictable John Cena wins, LOL. It shouldn't be. If he's talking about the future and stuff like that, he should be, repaying Wyatt for all, Wyatt's been on a redemption tour, and that's why this whole Goldberg thing was really, really baffling. And the only way I could explain it is what I just said. Maybe he threw the match on purpose. It would be something new. It would be something fresh. And if anybody could explain it, it would be Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I like that. I like that better than believing Goldberg was able to beat the Fiend, and that the Fiend was just run over by the 54-year-old man that he's a two-trick pony. I mean, I could do a whole thing on Goldberg, and he's a very decent guy from what I understand as a person. Good dad, all that wonderful thing, all those lovey-dovey stuff, but when it comes to in-ring, I mean, the problem is you're in a completely different era, right? Goldberg is living in an era where it's not just about the two-trick ponies anymore, and it's about being able to put on a hell of a match and have characters with depth. And the guy can't cut a promo, and he can't really wrestle beyond a couple of football moves and a glorified suplex. I mean, he's got the look. He's got the body type, he's got the charisma, and that's what's carried him to where he is today. So he was the right guy in the right place at the right time. But if this was 20 years ago, boy, I mean, it's just amazing that this is actually happening.
Yep. I mean, I don't have much more to say about it, but like I said, hopefully there's a silver lining to all this, and maybe Bray Wyatt is going after Reigns, and he wants Reigns to have the title and take it off of him at SummerSlam. Who knows? But all I know is, again, I was right. It wasn't going to be Wyatt Reigns.
If there's a grand plan that Bray Wyatt has that is being built around him losing on purpose and facing John Cena and beating him, if there's this long story arc that's really smartly written, I'm on board for it. I don't see it right now, and I wouldn't put it past WWE to have it, but WWE is not very good at long story arcs. I mean, they're just not. So while I'm on board for it, and you're getting me excited again for it, I don't have the faith in them to think that way. I think they think that WWE thinks fans are extremely short-term memory loss prone, and that they just want the next thing and forget what happened last night, and they just go based on that, and they just keep moving forward and not worry about the loopholes sitting behind them. And I think that's a very piss-poor way to book, but that's just the way that they've booked over the last, forever. That's just what they've done forever. So,
Good.
All right. Well, Murray, it has been, as always, a very fun conversation, and I will continue to monitor your damn tweets that just seem to be spot on. And if you have anything else that you want to share with the class about what you think could happen or things that you see coming, please feel free to let us know, because I feel like I'm in the dark sometimes.
I mean, I've been trying to tag you. But sometimes you don't watch stuff, so I have to make sure that like it's just, or you watch it late, and I do that too. So I just like the other day, that was like the first thing that popped in my head in the morning. That was like, I woke up and I was like, oh crap. It just like came to me. Like, again, maybe I'm a soothsayer. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Sabrina lately. Maybe I got like the touch or the shin or the something. I don't know, the cunning. We'll see. But you know, Mary's Conspiracy Theory Corner is a hot segment on the WWE podcast.
It really is. Yes, it is. I mean, maybe I've come up with like a jingle for it or something. I'm
gotta come up with a jingle or some music.
I do. I really have to. And you know, the whole Sabrina thing. The what is it? The Chilling Tales of Sabrina, or the
yes.
Yeah. It's not Sabrina the Teenage Witch with Melissa Joan
not.
Hart. Yeah, my wife and I watched the first 2 seasons. We got in like a few episodes into season 3. It is super dark.
Yeah, it's super dark. I love it. It's pretty good. She's kind of annoying, but I think that's the point. So I like it.
Yeah. So again, if you're expecting it to be Melissa Joan Hart and her aunts just doing silliness with Salem, no. It's about like literally like Satan and demons and like real shit. So yeah. So all right, Mary. Well, thank you again for joining me, and we'll be in touch. Continue with your conspiracy theories. You're now making me a believer. So before you go, let everyone know where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Mare_Bear, BARE, and you can follow me on Instagram, which I'm not as active as I am on Twitter, at Poppins311.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mary. We will be talking in 3 weeks, as Elimination Chamber will have now passed, and my God, we'll be, a couple weeks away from WrestleMania? So it's going to be crazy.
We'll be a couple weeks from WrestleMania and like a week before my birthday. I'm getting old, guys. My birthday's in a month, so.
No, I hear you. I just turned 35.
Oh,
so
God, your birthday.
I feel you. Jeez.
I've got one last year in those 30s coming up. So gotta make it good.
You're in your 30s. Yeah, live it up. You're still in your 30s. That's what I said about my 20s. And yeah, you just keep going. So awesome. Well, Mary, thanks so much for joining us. We will talk to you very soon.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Good night.
Night.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.